Today's topic will be on growing business. I get, probably 100 questions or better every month on how can I break this chain. Too many people are stuck at a certain plateau. They can't get past it no matter what they do. Now, I'm going to give you the easiest, most simple way to get more money and to do better as any type of reseller out there, and that is just to invest more time into this. If I want more money, I put in more hours. That's it. That's all it takes. Again, I'm buying good items. I don't just list crap. If I'm going on vacation, that's what I do. If we want to do something, or I plan on doing a big, huge, massive purchase, I'll just list a bunch of stuff ahead of time, so I won't even usually have to touch a bank or anything else like that. Working more is what I do if I want extra money. When I was struggling and stuff, I just worked more hours. 65, 70, 80, if that's what it took to get what I personally wanted. If I worked for somebody else, here's how I look at the hours-wise. If I had to work for somebody else, all that money and time, or the time that I'm putting in, I'm not going to get all that money back out of that. The person I'm working for is going to make the lion's share of the profits. If I'm putting in the time myself, though, it's all mine, less eBay fees, which I'm fine with. If you're not making decent money because of eBay fees, it's the items you're selling. It's not eBay fees. I'll be straight out. That's my personal, honest opinion. I make good money on what we sell. Real good money, considering what I pay for the items. If you want to grow your business, stop wasting time on stupid stuff. You know, that's another factor to increase the amount of time you're doing on your business versus the time you're just blowing on stupid stuff. I talk to people all the time. They'll stop for a minute, though they're working out of their house or whatever the case may be. Family members are there, and they get tied up in sitting down on the sofa watching a show with somebody or this or that. And at the end of the day, they wonder why they didn't get as much stuff done. And that, I promise you, if you track your hours, you're going to realize you're probably wasting a ton of time. For us, I've got a big, huge clock up here. It can be seen from everywhere in this section. There's another one just like it. It's an atomic clock. I think we got it at Amazon for like $20. And it's big letters. Everybody can see it. It's got the days of the week, all that kind of crap on it. I don't stop. I don't take a break. I don't do anything other than work until a certain point. If I hit the point where I say, hey, if I get this stuff done, then if I want to slack off for a few minutes, that's fine. But I don't. I separate my personal life from my business life, even if my kids are working with us. Budget yourself if that's what it takes. Write down yourself a darn schedule. And I know everybody thinks, no, I don't need to. I'm running my own thing. I do that. I know what I want to do a specific day. I can change it, though, if I need to. So put something down on paper. Have a set goal. Have a set goal of time. Have a set goal of how many listings you want to get up. Another aspect of what I do, if I buy a bunch of stuff, doesn't matter what it is. I don't care what it is. I instantly pick out the most expensive thing. I list it right away and get my money back as quick as possible. So at the end of the day, the first day I start listing, almost every single time I've got all my money back for a massive purchase right off the bat. Now that's bringing money down to the bottom line right off the bat. That's getting your money back out of your purchases so you're able to up your ante. You're getting your money back right away so you can instantly go back out, within a day even sometimes of buying something and start to buy more items. Or keep the money in the bank so when a massive purchase comes up, you're not holding your hands in your pockets wondering, how the heck could I ever be able to afford to purchase this item? The first breakthrough we had was being able to afford to purchase massive lots, spending thousands of dollars at a time because we got the best deal out there. We were able to outbuy other people right off the bat by having enough cash in the bank. And it doesn't work well if all of your inventory is tying up your cash flow. And that happens all the time. My rule of thumb is, as long as I'm buying a big bulk, some of the items I'm darn sure are going to sell very, very quickly. The rest of them will still make me a profit, but I'll get my money back right away. Don't tie up your funds if you want to grow your business. You have to have money to shell out. Don't buy cheap junk either. Now, I know I buy cheap stuff, but it's not junk. It's only junk to the people I'm buying it from, and that's why I get it so cheap. Another aspect is the stuff that I list these days. The stuff that I list, as a general rule, and I've said this many times, only requires 5 images or less these days for the majority of what we sell. The only exception, or usually the only exception, is obviously a high dollar item worth hundreds of dollars, or it's something that I can scan as well as, 12 scans is very, very quick. I'll lower the DPI if I'm doing massive lots, like a bunch of 10 or 12 card lots. Other than that, I try to stick to quick list items that take 5 images or less to acquire. If it's, say, a single piece of something that's two-sided, it's only 2 scans, and I upload one of those images twice for a zoom in. And those 2 scans are done at the very same time for 90% of the items that we sell with the duplex scanner. There's a rhyme and a reason to why I list and sell what I do. A good ploy for growing your business is to get feelers out there and get people to bring the stuff to you. Put ads out, whatever it takes to do it. If you can cut that middle spot out there and have them bring it straight to you, you're up in your game right off the bat. I can't tell you how great it's been to have a sourcing venue that routinely gets us mass quantity for very little funds. And that's been a game changer. We've been able to grow our business because I'm able to get a large amount of merchandise. I've got, and I swear this isn't an exaggeration, I could probably list for close to the rest of my ability in life and not have to buy much else new at all. Again, time, sourcing abilities. If I don't know if it's worth something or it's a chance, a semi-decent risk, 50-50, I'm just not going to buy the item. That again, I know a lot of people say, well, it's the risk ones that usually make me a lot of money, but for me, a risk that you may think is risky, I may not assume it's risky at all. The longer you do this, the less items you feel are risky in general because I know the items I'm buying. So if you're not centering in on a specifically like a niche, you're almost spinning your wheels because you're going to have to constantly learn an item just enough or the category just enough to sell maybe one item you bought here or one item you bought there. I've consolidated my time. So when I'm researching something, it's in a category that I know a large chunk. I may know 90% of what I need to know in that area, and I only have to look up a small amount. If I'm outsourcing records, I can 99% of the time pull out just the records that I'm not quite sure on or the valuable ones and just grab those. I could look through 10,000 45s and pull out, a stack about, 40 or so, I guess that would be 40 or 50 45s. And those would be the only ones that are really worth my time and money. Only because I've looked through bulk record purchases for the last 20 years. It's not something everybody can do, but if you're not in a niche, all the time you're spending to research an odd item here or an odd item there. Of course, I still buy odd items if I know they're worth something, but for the most part, if it's vintage or collectible, I at least know what it is. I at least have a good idea on the genre, the field, the category, the niche itself to start off with, again, from doing this for many years. If you're doing the same thing for 20 years and you don't know the categories you're selling in, something's wrong. You're spinning your wheels, you're wasting time. So I've consolidated the amount of photos I want to list. That's, again, clothing. I gave up clothing a while ago, and that's the best thing I think we've ever done, is just not messing with clothing. It took too long. I can list about a card a minute or so on with paper items and in the categories that I know. I can probably list about 42 buttons on eBay. I can list, jewelry the same amount, 30 to 40 items. Clothing, 6, 8, if you're lucky. I've seen people talk about only being able to list 30 items in an 8-hour shift. So, again, unless there's a ton of money involved in it, you're able to get a large percentage of volume up at the same time, it may not be worth it. If I'm not going to make at least $14 these days or sell it for $14, I'm not going to mess with it. I don't mess with stuff that's not worth my time. If you can list 40 of something at $1 or 40 of something at $10 or $15, what is your best choice? There's very rare occasions that I may list something that's only a couple bucks, and that's only if I've got 1,000 of them and they sell very, very, very well, and I can ship them easily in just a matter of a few moments. Other than that, I would never, ever recommend listing $1 or $2 items. By the time the fees are out, you're not making anything hardly. By the time you factor in your labor, if you'd have to sell every single thing, all 40 items in an hour that you're listing for $1.99 to even break even with your time, as far as I'm concerned. We try to list, and I know our numbers fluctuate, but we're looking at $500 minimum we want to be listed. So if I'm listing something every hour, I need to get at least $500 worth of merchandise up. That might be, $10, $50 items. That may be $50, $10 items. Usually we don't do $10 unless they're quick sell, but those are all factors in me being able to grow my business. Saving time. It all comes back to time and the value of your efforts on this. It's a no-brainer. You've got to put the effort in. You've got to show eBay that you want that money. I'm telling you, you've got to want it, and you've got to want it enough to put in the extra effort to get it. You know, you don't just throw it up there and, oh, it's all going to just come to me. Nothing comes to you. You've got to do it yourself. You've got to create the sense. You've got to build up your own stuff, your story, your keywords, your abilities, your skills. All that's where the only way you're going to get it, in my opinion. Especially if you've never worked for anybody, or especially if you've never worked for yourself, I should say. If you work for somebody your whole life and they've done all the key aspects, you've got to be able to get into it. You've got to know your business, too. I appreciate everybody coming on, and I hope you all have a good day.
Barbie's Magic Voyageur. Magic? Sure, just what? Ooh! Sunny places, smiling faces. Barbie's Magic Voyageur. Like magic. Oh, fantastic. Barbie and her fun car with the Magic Voyageur. We're into Barbie! Barbie's new Magic Voyageur with detachable fun car. Assembly required, dolls sold separately. New from Mattel.